Aloha! Thank you so much for joining Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson. Today is Wednesday, December 2nd, 2016, and I love you. Thank you so much for being here. If you'd like to know when Wisdom Dialogues will be available to join, check out my Facebook group. It's facebook.com/groups/Wisdom Dialogues. I announce them there. So let's get started. I have a bunch of questions here in writing that I'll be going over. And if anyone has questions for me, I'm happy to take them. If you just raise your hand, let me expand this box, I could see you. Raise your hand or type a question. So I'll start with the first question I have written down here. I'd like to hear about your awakening, how it happened. Do you feel psychic? Do you see auras? Do you feel meditation is helpful? There's a lot of questions here. This is from one question block. How do you know when it's your higher self you're listening to? Does God use words to speak to you? Okay, so I'd like to hear about your awakening. Okay. Well, basically what I'm sharing is what everyone knows, but is just pretending not to know it. That's the funny thing. It's almost like it's obvious in plain sight. And as a really young girl, I remember being aware of that. I could recall especially some instances where it's just like, well, this is all not real. Obviously, I'm real because I'm aware of it, but this is all not real. See? So then, in order to be accepted, you're a little kid, and in order to be accepted, you start acting like everyone else as if it's real. At least that's what happened in my case. I can't speak for everyone. But yeah, I mean, based on my own experience, I would say that everyone knows this. It's just conditioning, as in learning from those around us that show us that this pretense is the real thing. And then that leads us to believe that we're an individual, that we're a body, that we're an individual person who acts on our own accord. It's actually kind of funny to me. But after a while of pretending, the pretense started to feel real to me. And it did seem like almost like entering into a dark period where this individual seems like it needs to be protected and provided for and all this different stuff that leads to anxiety and fear and, that kind of thing. The unmerry-go-round, I've heard it called. That's a good one. The unmerry-go-round. So then here I am on the unmerry-go-round, so to speak, and someone gives me something about, basically it's channeling. Something that just like point out what what I knew, but I just decided to cover it up and pretend with everyone else. So it was a little bit to dig through that though, because it's like once there's been this belief system about being an individual in a world where you like support yourself and you do your own, you make your own actions and decisions and stuff like that. It's pretty convincing, you know. You get to you get to feeling like, wow, this is all there is. This is real, and it's pretty convincing. So there was definitely some digging out of that. And I imagine there may still be some digging out going on, just noticing some responses that happen sometimes. Like there will be some kind of a response in me, and maybe for a couple minutes or even a couple hours, something might feel real that's not real. So, in that, acknowledging that whatever feels like a certain sensation is definitely not true. It means I'm believing a thought that's not true. And usually it's saying something like I'm some sort of a victim of someone else or of something else. Or I could become a victim of something. That's the other thing. There's even a thought that I could become a victim of something. So it's kind of like you get a knack and you start to understand that anything that feels like that is definitely pointing to something that's false. And it's a total opportunity. So it's kind of like if I feel anger or like victimization or something like that, it's kind of like this little woo goes on. Yay, this is perfect. Because that's a big, huge opportunity. And it's such a blessing. Whoever my sister just said I looked hot. It took me off track. Okay. Thank you, Pandita. It's such a blessing to have that come up, like to feel like the victim, like why did this happen? It's so just it feels so good. That's the thing. And it's like normally the mind's so afraid of that. It's like, no, my image, my image, my image, my image. The image is nothing. It's nothing. But when you can feel the sensation of something that's false like that and know that it's false, that's amazing. That's actually it's such ecstasy actually. Such a opportunity for gratitude. I mean, especially if it happens that I mean, if it happens to come from anything, there the gratitude is there. But you know, I feel it especially when it comes with another from another person. That's just that's just gorgeous, especially when I really love them. You know, on that level where I've become familiar. You know, we've become familiar with each other. There's something where you get to know someone and they reflect you so well in all these different ways. It's like you just can recognize the connection so well. And when that trigger is there, oh my goodness. And that trigger is there, and that when that kind of, you know, surface kind of love, basically, I love you because you are maybe beautiful, or you do these things for me, or you make me feel so good, and stuff like that. And when that turns into something else, and it feels like something the opposite, pretty much, what it was before, such a blessing to be able to feel through that anger and frustration and everything that we're hiding in ourselves, we're burying in ourselves, we're projecting onto other people. So then it's almost like they're pushing on us. They're like there's like this open wound, and they're just like, wait, and then it's like, well, you're da 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 da. And supposedly that's supposed to make it better somehow. But that's not where it is. It's a total healing opportunity, but only if we're willing to see that we don't see them as they are in that moment. We do not. There's a projection going on. And it's like, if your real heartfelt desire is awakening, that's the quickest way there is that I can see. These reflections. It's amazing. It's amazing. They're giving us such gifts. So beautiful. Could even be someone we never even met. Maybe we're feeling pissed at someone in the world. Maybe someone on the news. Who knows? You know. That's a great opportunity right there. So that's it. I'd like to hear about your awakening. That was the question. It kind of makes me laugh because your awakening is like, it's kind of funny because it's like, I am awake and I am everyone and everything and it is all awake. Nothing's really sleeping. It just there's a belief that's been ongoing that seems to be true to so many of us who are really the same one. So many different aspects. I like to call it microcosms of consciousness, microcosms of awareness. It's like the different eyeballs on the same being. Each eyeball is seeing a different perspective. That's all. The being itself is awake, not sleeping. I mean, awake doesn't even really make sense to it because it's not even definable. It couldn't even be sleeping. Awake and asleep are impossible for that which we are. So yeah, I guess I would say that's pretty much how it happened. There was all these reflections in my life and all those opportunities, and yeah, that's it. Do you feel psychic? I'm not really sure what that means. Do I feel psychic? If you're here, is she here? Lisa. Oh, Lisa, you're not on here. Okay, never mind. Um, do I feel psychic? I think what you mean by that is I can tell stuff like the future. I don't know, the future or other people's minds or whatever. I can definitely feel people's energy. That's for sure. And by people's, I mean my own energy. Because the people are me. The people are us. They're actually us. They're not anything else. So it's like we could feel people because they are us. So it's like if somebody's communicating with me, I can feel with them. Let's put it that way. I could feel with them. I'm not going to say I could feel what they feel exactly, but I could feel with them and allow the sensations in my own energy body to be as they are. And in that, apparently between people we seem so much more connected. Even though there's no such thing as connected, we're really one. But that seeming connectedness is like a breaking down of barriers of these kinds of thought patterns that make our perceptions of each other. It's like these perceptions of each other are playing. It's like a dance. And so when we feel with the other person, it's really ourself. So really what we're feeling is the effects of our perception when we're feeling like that. And so that might be sometimes considered as psychic. I don't know. All right. Do you see auras? Not just on the regular. Um, I've done a little bit of where I stare at someone or something for a while and then I start to see something, but it's not something I try to do. I don't think it's something that's necessary. Some people have that gift and that's awesome. I think it's fun. Auras aren't real either. They're only made up. Isn't that fun? All right. Do you feel meditation is helpful? If you enjoy it, it's helpful. If you enjoy it, that's the thing. Do you enjoy meditation, or um, do you feel like you're a person who needs to do meditation, or do you feel like you're using meditation to get to something else that's not the actual meditation? You know, if we're doing meditation and kind of like feeling like, oh, this sucks, but it'll get us somewhere, then that's not actually meditation, anyways. I don't think that's what it means. For me, meditation is something that I guess it could be a word to describe of how I like to be, just always. Um, just always sensing the sensations in the body, basically, um, and allowing them to be okay. That's all. That's meditation. That's what I learned, anyways. That's how I took it. I took Vipassana meditation, a 10-day meditation, and yeah, that's how I took it. That's how I took the whole meditation thing. That was my real big experience with sitting down meditating. Yeah. Yeah, I found out I could have that all day long, and I was like, woo! How do you know when it's your higher self you are listening to? Oh, okay. My higher self. Well, I don't have a higher self. That would be that would be make believe. Um, so yeah, there is a voice that resonates with peace for sure. So it's the same thing with noticing whatever sensations are in the body, and when those sensations are allowed to be okay, it's really interesting because then the sensation of peace that's already there, it's always there, it's ecstasy. It's like, oh, it's almost like I could describe it as orgasmic, really. I mean, it's always there. And when the other sensations, the sensations of not peace, are allowed to be okay, peace automatically prevails. Peace always prevails. That's what I see. And so that from that sensation of peace, that's what some people might call the Holy Spirit. Um, of course, all these things are made up. All these names are made up. Some people call that the Holy Spirit. Some people call it, what is it? Oh, higher self. Right? Higher self. God, love, any of those. Yeah. Does God use words to speak to you? That would say that there's God and me, and I just don't really see it that way. Uh, the God, God, in my point of view, is love. Basically, the foundation of mind. God is the foundation of mind. I am aware of the mind and God, who's the foundation of mind. Okay, so God doesn't really have words to speak to me. Words come, the way I see words is they come as a matter of conditioning. And God, who is love, could be said to speak through me. when my energy body is resonating with love, like that. Okay, well, hello for those questions. If anyone has any questions about that or has any questions of your own, please raise your hand. And if you have a question you would like to write, please write it. Thank you. I love you. What else do we have? Oh my, so much fun. If we don't blame ourselves for what we did wrong, how could we take responsibility for our actions, make amends, and be released from guilt? Okay, we don't blame ourselves for what we did wrong. Okay, so for one, there's not really doing wrong. There's not a such thing as doing wrong. No one can do wrong. I know that sounds weird and it sounds like an insult to some people, to a lot of people. And that's only because we've been told that we can do wrong and we need to know right from wrong. And that's totally, totally, totally not true. It's not. The idea that we can know right from wrong is just, it's made up. It's an egocentric theory, and that's what makes it seem like we need to know right from wrong or need to know good from evil. And as we imagine that we need to know good from evil, we're going to be making images of good and evil. And it's not necessary to do that. It's totally not necessary. For one, our heart knows, okay? It's like each and every one of us that we take ourselves to be, not who we really are. Each and every one of us is made by God, who is love. It's just that we've told ourselves a story that says we're something else, that needs to know about the world, that needs to know good from evil. So because of that, we're making images of good and evil. There's no need. There's no need for that. That's what's happening, apparently only, in the appearance, because it's been made so by our imagining that it's true. It's been made so. Okay? How can we take responsibility for our actions? Recognize that we are not responsible for our actions. It's really that simple. When it's recognized that we're not responsible for our actions, that this is a playing out. It's a playing out of what we've taken to be true. No one's guilty. No one's at fault. No one's responsible for their actions. In fact, no one's doing it like that. It's like a play. It's just written and it's going. Okay? So if you want to take responsibility for your actions, recognize that you're not responsible for your actions. Because when that happens, the heart calms down. The whole body structure calms down. And this reality is made from feeling. So from that calm feeling, the story is being written. You know the future right there. You don't have to know the specifics of it. That's what makes the mystery fun. You don't have to. You don't have to know the specifics of it. It's love. If it's love now, it's love. If it's not love now, the story's written in love. Period. Make amends and be released from guilt. There's no one to make amends with. There really is no one to make amends with. If an apology comes forth, fine. Fine. Once again, anything that we do is only a reflection of all the feelings that have gone before. When the feelings are allowed to be okay, there's no one to make amends with. An apology might come forward, not a problem. If an apology does come forward, it's going to be so sincere. See? It's not a matter of whether you should make amends. If it's meant to happen, it's going to be. If it's meant to happen, it's going to be. That's it. Okay. Anyone have any questions about that? Please raise your hand. Love to hear from you. You can also write me something. Okay, my sister wrote something. I hear that. There's things I can remember as a child which were very I don't know that word. Synchronicities. Awesome. I know that's awesome. I can feel the energy of it. Thank you. I appreciate you, Pandita. I love you. Shouldn't we take ownership and responsibility for our actions rather than pretending nothing happened? Oh, I just love that one. I love it. Okay, we already talked about taking responsibility for our actions. Okay, we know how we do that. Realize, recognize, at least be willing to recognize that we don't do anything to be responsible for. Give up responsibility. It's kind of like giving up responsibility to God. You know, sometimes Christians talk about this. And you know, you can trust God, love, whatever you want to call it, when you're allowing your feelings to be okay. You can totally trust it. Such a blessing. Rather than pretend nothing happened. That's the best. Pretend nothing happened. Like recognizing that nothing happened is the pretense. That's the funny thing. Because it's like going around pretending that something is really happening. Going around acting like something is really happening isn't pretending. Okay. That's just where it's gone. Doesn't mean it's true just because everyone believes it. Well, most people do. Maybe not even most anymore. Just because a bunch of people believe it doesn't mean we have to believe it. Okay? Alrighty. I feel really guilty because I failed to take appropriate action and a loved one died as a result. I blame myself every day. What can I do to let go of this guilt? I received that question. Oh my goodness. Just totally felt the sincerity in the person, and what a blessing. What a blessing. I feel really guilty because I failed to take appropriate action. So that's kind of where this goes to, this idea of right and wrong, knowing right from wrong. This is where it leads, okay? This is kind of like where it gets pretty extreme. I think this is where it gets, you know, pretty darn extreme. When it seems like you could have taken some action and actually a loved one died as a result, you know. It's like, then what? Then where do I go with this idea that I can take action in the first place, much less appropriate action? See? There's no way that could have happened any different or any better. There's no way and in fact, nothing happened. How about that? But everything that appears to happen, everything that appears on the screen of consciousness to happen, couldn't happen any better. The story is written perfectly. It's written perfectly according to all of the information that's been given to the subconscious mind to write it. Basically, this is the material the subconscious mind has. It's feeling. And when it's and when there's a feeling that seems like it's not okay, then that's going to multiply. That feeling's going to multiply. No one died. There's another part of it. There's no such thing as dying. There's no such thing as birth and dying in life. They're all appearances. No one that's been created dies. No, everyone's eternal. That's it. Okay, just because you can't see their body is doesn't mean they're dead. And you know, everything anybody does and anybody appears to do, like dying, is a gift. They're always giving us a gift. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It's all the divine. Okay? I'm not saying that dying is beautiful. Let me just put it that way. The gift of it, because it's the divine giving that gift of awareness. That's beautiful. But a body that bleeds and dies is not actually necessary. It's only been made necessary because of belief. Okay? The real world has nothing to do with death, nothing to do with aging, deteriorating, bleeding, none of that stuff. That's actually some weird ass stuff. Okay? And it's not real. Okay? And that's why it's a story playing out. All right. I blame myself every day. I'd like to point out here that no one actually blames themselves. It seems like when there's blame arising on the screen, like we're the one blaming and the one being blamed. Or maybe we're the one blaming, we're blaming someone else. Or maybe someone else is blaming and whatever. It's always watching. We are aware of blaming happening in the mind and taking the blamer and the blamee, as in this case, to be our own self. It's not. This is a play that we're watching. So keeping that in mind, this is a play that we're watching. The only thing to do here, once again, is recognize what it feels like to blame and be blamed. That's all. Taking those things as real. They're not real. They're just not real. Letting that feeling be okay. That's what allows the seeing through of it. What can I do to let go of this guilt? Well, it's more like the guilt kind of like burns itself out. Let's put it that way. Because the guilt arises and it's seen and it's just allowed to be okay. It feels good, actually. It's just fear of guilt, not wanting to be guilty. Makes it seem like it's a bad feeling that we don't want, so we try to push it away. We try to protect the image so the image doesn't have to feel guilty. And then, you know, when something gets blown open like this and the image is just all exposed and it's all guilty and stuff like that, it's such an awesome opportunity to feel those sensations and get to the ecstasy of it. I mean, it's almost like coming through something like that is like, gosh, it's orgasmic. Let's put it that way. It's not always seen like that. But that's how it is. That's how it is. If there's just willingness to feel it as it is. The sensations are beautiful, just beautiful, and totally unreal. Isn't that great? All right. Here's the next one. You know what to do if you have a question. Here's the next one. With all the evil in the world, aren't we lucky to have those born with the gift of aggression so that they can protect the majority of people from those who would do them harm? The one who asked me this is such a beautiful, beautiful person. I love him. It's just, it's so wonderful to be around him because he's so open, even though there's all these kinds of concepts. He's just so open and his heart's so wide open to receive. It's so wonderful. Really appreciate that. So he's been in the Army or some kind of armed services. I don't even know which one, but feels really strongly that people in the world are so lucky to have this protection against like jihadists and all these other people that are out to get them and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of like where the question comes from. With all the evil in the world, first of all, that there is evil in the world is we made up. We made it up that it's evil in the world. Aren't we lucky to have those born with the gift of, yes, if there's evil in the world, which we made up, we would be very, very lucky to have people with big ass guns to protect us. But the thing is that there's not really evil in the world. And there's nothing, and there's not really those guns to protect us. See, that's the thing. That's only an illusion of protection. There's no protection. It's a total illusion. Okay? Whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. It's just gonna be written by the subconscious mind based on feeling. That it's just gonna happen. There's no evil and there's no protector. So, and then at the same time it's all God, right? It's all God. And none of that kind of stuff is necessary. It's just not necessary. It's only there. It only appears to be there. Let's say that because it's not really there. It's actually not there. It appears to be there because of belief in guilt. Okay? Belief in guilt, there's evil in the world. It's a projection. Okay? If there's evil in the world, then we need guns to protect us from evil in the world. If we believe that, that's what happens. You can't help it. So what? So okay, fine. That's how it is. That's how it looks. That's how it appears to be. So when it's seen like that, and the mind says, with all the evil in the world, number one, just recognize that that's made up. Aren't we lucky? Recognize that makes up. That's made up. And you know what? That whole energy exchanged with the evil and the good in battle against each other breaks down. It definitely breaks down in our own experience. No one's coming around to battle. Everyone who comes around, even with battle in mind, even with battle in their mind, is embraced because it's me. It's all me. It's all you. What a blessing. What a blessing. All right. Should we just live in a love bubble and ignore the people in the world who are suffering? That's a great one that comes up all the time. It's like, yeah, but people are suffering, and so what the mind automatically does is just put this idea of being loving as if it's like some kind of bubble out here and away from what appears to be happening in the world. And the thing is, it's not like your eyes are closed. It's more like your eyes and heart are open, and there's willingness to be with whatever comes up, any perception. It's not like, oh no, I can't look at that. I don't want to see the news, because then if I see the news, I might have a perception that'll make it seem like there's bad shit going on. Well, the thing is, it's like whatever bad shit going on, it arises in the perception. It's not like we have to go looking for it, but whatever arises in the perception, awesome. There's the healing opportunity. What better way to spend the time? Because it's like the energy, everything's a projection. And it's like when it's allowed to be felt here, when it's allowed, those sensations of the projection are allowed to be just felt here in the body, there's this connection with ourself. There's this connection with ourself, and it just allows things to calm down. It allows everything to calm down. So it's wonderful to have a perception of suffering. It's wonderful. It's like, thank you, thank you. Because to have that perception of suffering and allow it to arise and to notice that it's okay alleviates the perception of suffering. It alleviates that. And you know what? You know what's noticed? There's just not conflict between people, things. There's not that conflict going on within ourselves, within our regular, like, day-to-day things. Because there's just a willingness to feel whatever it is. Love space, not a love bubble. A love space, a big heart space where everyone and everything is welcome. Yeah. Alrighty. Was that the last one of those? That was the last one on those. do I have? Oh, Anon, you wrote some questions here. Does sometimes love sound like stop or let's find a way that feels better for everyone involved? Well, it could. Sure, sure. It always comes down to the feeling. It's like, okay, it's love. Let's say love is like a still small voice or a quiet whisper in the midst of emotional disturbance, like that. So there's emotional disturbance going on, and there's love as, the foundation of that, the foundation of the mind. And then it's like say love, the foundation of the mind is kind of like the sky of the mind. And then this turbulence, it's like there's this wind going on, it's kind of blowing around. And so it's giving that love the attention while feeling all the turbulence. And then whatever comes up, that's it. That's the expression of love. You know it's the expression of love because everything was allowed to be okay. Okay? Everything, all this feeling within, it's all allowed to be okay. It's so simple. It's never going to be something that we say it is. It's never going to be love means da 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 da. It's always going to be love feels, oh yeah, oh yeah. And there's never tough love. That's totally made up. There's not tough love. Love feels good. Love is kind of like love making, actually. I think that's why they call it that. It's like it's ecstatic. And when you feel from that, when you speak from that, that's it. Hooray. So, Anon, I see that you're on now. So if you want to dialogue with me on any of these questions, please raise your hand. I would love to. And if for any reason I don't see your hand or you just like to write something to me, you can write in the questions, okay? I love you. Thank you. Have another question from Anon, and she said, "What is marriage?" Well, that would be just another thing on the surface. It's just another illusion. It's something made up. Um, it's I guess it's kind of like a legal thing. Yeah. Um, Definitely nothing wrong with it, of course. I've got one of those, apparently. Got one of those marriage things going. Um, I will say that it might be helpful to be in some kind of committed thing like that if it happens to arise for people. Um, because the tendency is to run away. It's to say, oh, I feel like this, so therefore these thoughts about the other person being crazy or stupid or unenlightened or whatever must be true, and I'm just going to mosey on down the road. So making that kind of commitment, of course, it's like you're never really stuck to anything. I mean, you're not doing anything in the first place. Basically, I'm speaking to consciousness right now because it's not like you make any choice in this. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah. Just to kind of like not run away so fast, not follow, not follow those thoughts that say, "I got to get out of here. This guy's a dick." Whatever, you know. Kind of like, of course, you can leave at any time. You never know what you're gonna do. But just like coming to those conclusions, notice when the mind makes conclusions, you don't have to have a legal marriage or anything to try this. And you're around anyone, um, friends, whatever. That thought comes up, oh, this person's an asshole. I'm not going to hang out with them anymore. Just look at the mind making that conclusion. Actually, you don't know whether you're going to hang out with them anymore or not. But when the mind makes a conclusion like that, when the mind comes to a conclusion like that and it's felt to be true, it's actually felt to be true, a true conclusion, then it's just projecting. There's not that kind of connection where I talk about where there's a healing going on, you know. It says resisting a healing. Of course, that might happen, getting a divorce or going away or never getting married or whatever, just going away from people. It's just noticing the conclusion in the mind that says why you're doing it. There's actually never a reason why, and it sure isn't the reason that you think it is on the surface, like they're an asshole or something like that. Basically, these bodies seem to come together um, for healing. And so they're going to come together for healing when they need to come together for healing, and then they're not going to be together when they're not conducive to healing, and that's it. Period. So, if thoughts are being followed that keep on saying, "Oh, they're so terrible. Oh, they're so bad. Oh man, this is terrible." Then what happens a lot of the times is the relationship just keeps on getting worse and worse and worse and worse until it's so bad that both parties are like, fuck you. I don't want anything to do with you. They're an asshole. Tell other friends and stuff like that. And, that's not a healing relationship anymore, so they might stop hanging out with each other. Or it might not be a healing relationship. It might be a healing relationship. The way you know is they're still together. That's how you know. If they're together, it's healing. All right. Uh, One more from the lovely, lovely Anon. If something is apparently wrong or painful, why does it feel comforting to communicate with others who are experiencing similar difficulties? That's a great question. It's really comforting for the mind to experience misery with another person. Let's say it's comforting to the ego. It's comforting to the ego. The false sense of self, to know that you're not alone, which you actually are alone. But it's a beautiful alone. It's a really beautiful alone. So wrong and painful. People feel wrong and painful. It's comfortable to hang out with other people that validate that. That's what's comfortable. What's seriously uncomfortable is to hang around with someone that goes, "Oh, something's apparently wrong? Awesome. That is awesome." That's not that fun. And not everyone needs that. Not everyone's ready for that too. Some people are just ready for, well, let's just say if they get it, they need it too. That's for sure. But it's like sometimes people are ready for a hug and a smile, a hug and or a smile. Sometimes that happens. But it's like we'll know exactly how to be with them by being with ourselves, by being with our own feelings. And when I say we'll know by witnessing it, just witnessing what it is. It's always right, if right were a thing. But it's good for pointing. It's always awesome. Let's put it that way. It's always awesome. Everything is awesome. All right. Anon, if you have anything else you'd like to elaborate on with that, or you'd like to speak with me, please do raise your hand or send me a question in the questions pane. I have one more that is kind of like pre-asked, and this is from Molly. Hooray! I want to talk about this more this afternoon, Molly said. And I said, yay! Belief that we solve our own problems through action is actually what causes the appearance of problems. Molly, I don't know if you would like to speak with me. I would love to speak with you about this if you'd like to dialogue. Otherwise, I could just like elaborate on that more. if that's helpful. And if anyone wants me to elaborate on different, if any questions pop up in your mind and want me to elaborate in different ways, please let me know. I'm really happy to do that. Thank you. Okay, Molly's talking to me. Oh, how fun. Thank you, Molly. So, belief that we solve our own problems through actions is actually what causes the appearance of problems. Yes, this is so amazing to experience. It is so amazing. Um, yeah, basically, when it seems like a problem comes up, this is something that can really be felt in the energy body. And when it's if there's willingness to see that it's actually on a mental pattern, that a problem isn't really arising. There's only what's arising is a perception of a problem. And the perception of the problem is on an emotional pattern. So there's an emotion that arises, and it's been identified as, oh, that means there is a problem. This feeling. So if there's willingness in that moment that it seems like there's a problem, and it could be any thought that says there's a problem, there's willingness to just to feel what it feels like to think there's a problem, then that's the problem being solved right there. Whatever happens on the surface happens, and it may appear to solve the problem or not. That's not relevant one bit, because the absolute root of the problem is the feeling that there's a problem. It's feeling that there's a problem. So within that feeling, it could be noticed that it's okay to feel like there's a problem. It's only okay to feel like there's a problem. It's not trying to get rid of feeling like there's a problem. It's just okay to feel like there's a problem. And as it's okay to feel like it's a problem, it gets revealed. I mean, so in my experience, quickly, very quickly, that there's no problem out there. There's no problem. And all this, I solved it, as if there's one that did something, one that's separate from something, doing something. It could be said that there's one that's doing something, and that one would be the subconscious mind, the mother of all things made, the one that's doing things. There's no we like that. When I say we, what's being pointed to is these different, like I said before, eyeballs, almost like an eyeball, almost like, definitely not that. Seeing through a peephole into the reality. That's we. But what's behind that is one. It's awareness. It's not even one, because it's awareness. It can't be split. It can't even be a number. Okay? Molly's writing something right now. I have to read this. Here's the problem. Wink and a smile. I want to do things that make me feel good in my body, but sometimes I become unmotivated to do them. Oh, that's so awesome. I love this one. This feels like it causes me discomfort and low energy. Oh, I love you so much. I wish I could, quote, solve the problem, because I perceive that I would feel a lot better in my body and would be a better person. Ah, and another wink and a smile. I love those. Thank you, Molly. This is awesome. This is awesome. I want to do the things that make me feel good in my body. Okay, look, that's a thought. I want to do. I want. Let's just stop with I want. Let's just stop right with I want. There's no I that wants. If there were an I that wanted, it would want whatever you got. Okay? It would want to feel shitty in the body if that's what's happening. But there's no I to want anything, really. It's not like that. It's all an opportunity for feeling. It's all an opportunity. The idea that I want to feel good in my body makes feeling shitty in my body a pain in the ass. Okay? Whereas noticing that feeling shitty in the body is just an experience feels good. Oh my God, it feels good. It's a perception. Feeling shitty in the body is a perception. And I'll tell you what gets missed in that is that what's feeling shitty in the body is the thoughts about it. The thoughts. The thoughts of feeling shitty in the body are bringing up another kind of feeling that's not really physical. It's more like the energy body. And there's an unwillingness to have that. There's a pushing it away. And you know what? And it says, but sometimes I become very unmotivated to do them. No wonder. No wonder the motivation isn't there. To do it feels good in the body. Okay? Because there's an idea that I want what I don't have. That makes it very hard. Okay? Battle of the bulge. Heard of the battle of the bulge? Yeah, like that. It's not hard. It's not hard. And look, here's the thing. We do not get motivated. We do not get motivated. Motivation arises just on time, right on time. Motivation arises. Okay? It's never late. And when there's no motivation, there's no motivation. And it's not one bit personal. Trying to make motivation come when it's not there is hard. Really hard. We like to say it in my family, we'd like to say it like pirates. It's hard. Just to make fun of it. But yeah, that's why it'd be hard to get motivated, for sure. Or seem hard to get motivated. This feels like it causes me discomfort and low energy. Yeah. Well, only thought could cause any kind of appearance. Only thought. There's nothing in the world that could cause an appearance. The world is an appearance. So, eating a certain way is appearance. Exercising is also an appearance. Okay? If you're if we're looking for appearances to change appearances, we're fucked. Let's put it that way. We're absolutely effed in the A. All right? That's not going to happen. um, so, what's causing discomfort and low energy is thought. Once again, it's all only thought. What's resisting discomfort and low energy is also thought. That's all arising as a feeling right now, and it's such a beautiful feeling. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Really. I wish I could solve the problem. Well, there it is. There it is. I wish I could solve the problem. I wish is the same I want. I pray for. Okay. It's not real prayer anyways. I pray for. That's saying my ego thinks it knows how it should be, so God, please give it to me. Like, whatever is arising, that's an opportunity to solve the problem. The root of the problem, the actual root of the problem. The actual root of all the problems is the idea that there's a problem, and it's all addressed through feeling. It's all addressed through feeling. Okay? It gets good like that. And it doesn't matter. The thing is, then it doesn't matter if there's low energy. That's what I experience. It doesn't matter that there's low energy, and then there seems to be a lot more energy. And here, let me tell you a little story, okay? I used to be super duper super anal about working out. You could ask anyone. You could see it on my face. I was stressed. I needed to work out or else I was a bitch. Okay? So I worked out really hard. I did all kinds of weightlifting, hour of cardio, and then when I started doing yoga, it was kind of like starting out to be the same way. And then something happened where it was like, you know what? No need. There's just a realization there's no need for all of this. Okay? There's no need. And there was a not caring. If if because there's a no need, then the body has to do what it does. Okay? If it's gonna get fat, it's gonna get fat. All right? Body's gotta do what it does. Whatevs. Just had a baby. Okay? I'm gonna take it easy. And there is this motivation for yoga, but then there was a baby. So it was like, okay, if yoga happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, there's not going to be a bunch of silly bullshit about, oh, I missed my yoga. And, that stuff happens. It's just not going to be believed because it's just not relevant. It's just not relevant right now. Right? It's just like, kind of like this kind of like play of thought just kind of like went on there. Went on. And it felt so good. Okay, if yoga happens, it happens. Number one, I need to wake up before the baby. Number two, I need to have the energy. Okay. And number three, it's an awesome thing to do. Um, it was weird because I noticed it was like I was getting yoga like 5 or 6 days a week. And I didn't even mind. And it was funny because before when I thought that I needed to solve the problem, basically whatever I pointed out to be wrong with my body, I needed to solve that problem by working out, then it was a lot harder to work out. And you know what was funny? I didn't get near the kind of results. I didn't get near the kind of results. It's amazing because it's like my younger version of myself, if my younger version of myself knew in advance how my diet and exercise lifestyle would be at this age, I would have thought, oh, I'm going to be fat. My story was, if I don't work out all the time, I'm going to be fat. So that was like true. I'd work out really hard all the time, and then if I didn't work out for a couple days, I'd feel really fat. Isn't that funny? So anyways, that's a fun story. I thought you guys might enjoy, especially if you're into working out and thinking like you have to do that or something to be a better person. Yay. Um, Molly, I love you. If you have any more you want to write or if you'd like to speak with me, I'd be so stoked to do so. Hi, Bron. This is Bron. Yay. Christine, I am feeling very tired today also. Okay, but not really. Okay, but not really. Okay. Okay. The feeling of tired is arising. Then the identification comes in. Okay? When there's identification with it, then it becomes an issue. If the feeling of tiredness arises and then there's a movement to rest, hey now. Awesome. And the thought, I am feeling tired, isn't actually true. So just notice that, that's all. Just notice that's not actually true. And then the feeling of tired is awesome. It doesn't feel like I'm having a thought about it or a judgment. That's okay. That's okay. Unless identifying with I'm the one feeling tired is a thought. I mean, that's still okay. Just seeing that it's all okay, actually. How do you know? How do I know? Experience. Plain and simple, experience. Okay? Noticing those energies of attachment to certain things, certain ideas arise. Like feeling tired bad. right? Feeling tired equals bad. Feeling energized equals good. You know, it's like when we feel energized, do we question if there's a thought about that, making us feel energized? There's no difference. It's just the perception. And not wanting tiredness is very tiring. Let's put it that way. So if there's a pushing away, a resistance to being tired, then that's tiring. Not wanting to be tired is tiring. It's so interesting how much rejuvenation can take place when tiredness arises, and it's okay. For however long it goes on. It's just okay. And notice the introspection that can happen. Wow. Wow. All the other little fluctuations and patterns that arise that the I'm feeling tired thought is covering over. I'm feeling tired, so I'm trying to get untired. And I want to see what's wrong with myself so I can not be tired. Right? That's like a real surface mind fluctuation. And then there's other ones going on that are like, ready to be exposed. When the one on the surface identifying with the tired person that doesn't want to be tired is seen through. See? How do I know? Because that is definitely something I've experienced, Christine. There's been a lot of experience around that. And I love you very much, and I appreciate you so much. Mahalo, mahalo, mahalo. Mahalo to everyone for allowing me to speak so frankly. I appreciate you so much. I don't see any more questions. I don't see any hands up. So I'm going to go ahead and close out. I'll pop right back if I see a hand before I close off. Sign off. Just like to say that this is sponsored by my essential oil company, Miracle Botanicals. MiracleBotanicals.com. If you like essential oils, awesome. We have the best. Okay? Apparently. But yeah, seriously. In all seriously, we take our time and source the best essential oils in the world. We love them, and they love you. MiracleBotanicals.com. Hey, there's a question. There's a hand. Oh my goodness. I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked. Christine, my love. Christine, are you there? Can I hear you? Aloha. Looks like I'm not getting the audio. Not getting Christine's audio. Oh, Christine is on the phone. I wonder if that comes to my phone. I don't think so. Oh. Okay. I love you, Karen. I love you, Christine. Oh, you guys are so sweet. I love you so much. Christine, I can't hear you. Wait a second. Okay, that wasn't it. That was like me going to a phone call. Christine, I would love for you to come on Friday live Wisdom Dialogues, Friday the 3rd, Michelle's place. If you need an invitation, let me know. Love to see you there. Or you can just come over. Yay, you're in Hawaii. All right. I love you, everyone. Aloha and blessings. Mahalo, Lori.